day one.
Winning the presidency.
President Barack Obama.
Economic think tank.
Priority number one.
Taking
The
off.
future simply has to work.
The new president bows his head in prayer. He needed all the help he could get. He had been briefed. He was facing the worst economic crisis in decades.
Fragile financial system.
It's likely to get worse before it gets better.
Larry Summers said we're going to lose millions more jobs, and we could have a second Great Depression.
Secretary of the Treasury
Tim Geithner said the financial system is locked up and it might collapse.
The U.S. banking system remains in deep trouble.
We were hanging on the edge of a cliff, and in fact, we were starting down into the abyss.
This is a stunningly scary moment.
There was plenty of panic to go around.
The troubled economy offering a harsh greeting to the new president, worst showing ever on an inaugural day.
It's tough to stay positive when you've been kind of getting clubbed to death.
Markets were collapsing.
It's 900 now, 900.
Major banks were failing.
I'm definitely going to pull my money out.
More than 100,000 Americans were losing their homes every week.
We're doing a servant eviction on you. You have to take off in about 15 minutes.
And the worst effect, soaring unemployment.
In 2008, nearly 1.2 million jobs have disappeared.
And still climbing.
People are scared.
It was really getting worse, and we had already, as a country, done just a massive amount of things.
Where do you start? You know, which one of these piles of things that you want to start with?
We had this big debate about what to do.
It's your first day on the job and the world economy is collapsing. Did you ever think to yourself, this is going to derail the country, my plans, my presidency?
Maybe because I was too new to panic. I was very confident that we could get to the right answer.
Obama decides to go big. A stimulus bill that would pump $800 billion into the economy. Tax cuts, money to save the jobs of cops and teachers, and the rebuilding of roads and bridges.
At this particular moment, only government can provide the short-term boost necessary to lift us from a recession this deep and severe.
Republicans hated it. They said it was too rushed and hopelessly complex.
I don't know how you could read 1,100 pages between midnight and now. Not one member's read this. What happened to the promise that we're going to let the American people see what's in this bill for 48 hours? But nope, we don't have time to do that.
The decisions that he was making to save the economy were all politically toxic. He had no illusions about that.
Still, Obama thought he could pry loose some Republican votes. Instead of the usual step of inviting them to the White House, he went to Capitol Hill.
It was a very dramatic gesture on the part of the president, as you know, Diana, to reach
to talk to Republicans on their turf.
Hello, everybody.
It did not go well.
I could not find anybody who said, at least in the House, that they would vote yes tomorrow.
We had a wonderful exchange of ideas.
Not so much, as it turned out. The Republicans had made up their minds before Obama even arrived.
On my trip up to the Hill, they released an email saying we're going to be voting against it before they'd even heard our presentation.
The stimulus passed without a single vote from a House Republican.
They were making political decisions, and we were trying to save the country from a disaster.
This was, in fact, a crucial moment in the history of the Obama presidency. It was only the president's second month in office. The financial crisis was about to get even scarier, and yet it was already clear. Republicans would hold firm to the vow they made as he entered the White House.
Mitch McConnell says what his strategy is. They told you the strategy. It's not like you have to interpret it. They're overt about it.
Their desire to stop him was also going to have
devastating consequences for the American people. And why? Or was it some of it race, or was it the politics, or was it power?
But Obama was not blameless. Republicans say he would not accept any of their ideas.
No engagement in any way, shape, or form.
They found him unappealing in many ways.
The Republicans had a favorite word to describe the president and his policies.
Really arrogant, if you will.
Arrogant.
I do think Barack Obama is arrogant.
But now Obama had to go it alone, and he was facing a new crisis.
More troubles for GM and its workers.
America's iconic car company, General Motors, was in a death spiral.
With General Motors right now, I think we're all afraid.
They were talking about 2 weeks and bust. It was not 2 years. It was not, we have a problem here. We think we can keep it alive for 2 weeks.
Chrysler was collapsing as well.
Everybody's here for one common cause. We want to keep our jobs.
There were layoffs, plant closings.
It's time to get pissed off!
We cannot and must not, and we will not, let our auto industry simply vanish.
Polls showed almost 2/3 of the American people opposed bailing out the car companies. Mitt Romney, whose father ran a car company, wrote an op-ed, "Let them go bankrupt." But Barack Obama decided to go all in.
Our government will be making a significant additional investment of about $30 billion in GM.
The massive loan effectively made the U.S. government the owner of General Motors.
We own a car company.
It's very scary.
Lenin and Stalin would love this stuff.
But even the auto bailout did not spark as much rage as bank bonuses.
Multi-million-dollar bonuses despite getting billions of your taxpayer bailout dollars.
That's the CEO where our money went.
That's right, millions in bonuses were being paid to the very same bankers who many thought had almost destroyed the world economy.
It makes me feel disgusted. It makes me angry, certainly. If you're a CEO of a company like that, you shouldn't be able to drive a limo. You should ride your on the subway like everybody else does.
The anger came from all directions.
What happened with these bonuses was a mugging on Wall Street.
Those bonuses were contractual obligations, but the administration understood that the optics were awful.
I did not run for office to be helping out a bunch of fat cat bankers on Wall Street.
It looked like you were giving money to the arsonists, and they were going to profit while the country burned.
Then, American anger over all of it seemed to find a voice.
The government is promoting bad behavior.
On the floor of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, a CNBC reporter named Rick Santelli went on an epic rant about bailouts.
This is America. How many of you people want to pay for your neighbor's mortgage that has an extra bathroom and can't pay their bills? Raise their hand. How about we all? President Obama, are you listening? We're thinking of having a Chicago Tea Party in July. All you capitalists that want to show up to Lake Michigan, I'm going to start organizing.
What are you jumping in this time?
Mayor Daley is marshaling the police right now.
Rabble route.
National Guard.
It was the moment the Tea Party movement was born. In the end, the banks were stabilized and credit began flowing to Main Street. The taxpayers got all their money back with interest from those bets.
And we saved the country from a failing financial system, but we lost the country. We lost the country doing it.
And they lost big. Even though Obama's emergency rescue succeeded, the appearance that he was helping Wall Street rather than ordinary Americans, that would prove very expensive. It cost him mountains of his political capital just when he needed it. He was headed into a gathering storm that would threaten the one thing he wanted most.
Can you hear us now?
That story later in the program. But first, how the president who brought down bin Laden let the next big terror threat rise up and take over lands Americans had died for.
Let me ask